Am I the antagonist for asking my girlfriend to cut back on her messy hobby? My ages collects rocks and bones, not crystals or anything. They don't think they have any magic powers, they're just normal rocks. They're not into astrology or any witch stuff. They sometimes tell me about the rocks and what type of rock they are, and it's usually chert, which seems to just be a type of normal rock. They're really outdoorsy and they travel a lot for work, and when they get back from a project they have a pocket full of new rocks. The bones are usually deer bones that they find out in the woods, and they don't have as many of them. The skulls are cool, but also kind of creepy, and most of them don't even have antlers or anything impressive like that. Their favorite bones are shoulder blades and those spine bones. If we go on a hike, they'll sometimes stop randomly because they found a cool rock that looks like a normal rock you could find anywhere, and put it in their backpack or pocket. Sometimes they ask me to carry them, and I have to put dirty rocks in my pockets. They keep them all over the house on tables, but mostly in our bedroom on the dresser and on their desk. They used to keep the skulls and bones on the dresser but put most of them in the closet when I said I was creeped out when I would wake up and see a bunch of dead animal skulls staring at me. But they take some of them out when they're working at home. The problem with the rocks is that there are so many of them, and it's starting to make the apartment seem cluttered and kind of messy. If anyone came into our room, they would just see a bunch of random rocks all over the place. The other day when I was cleaning, I put all of them in a nice box so that they were all in one place, and they got really mad when they got home. They say they like looking at them and seeing some remind them of the different trips they've taken, even though they all look the same. And they said that they're beautiful and make them happy. They also like to pick some of them up and carry them around during the day. I calmly explained that we were running out of space for their rocks and maybe they could take photos of pretty views they saw to remind them of their trip. And they got really mad and said that it wasn't the same and I couldn't tell them what to do with their apartment, even though we both live here, so it's my apartment too. I tried to get my friend to commiserate, but they said I was being an ass for trying to stop my ages. For doing something that makes them happy, and that he should be thankful something that makes them happy, and that he should be thankful. Am I the asshole for wanting a clean apartment? I'm not even telling them to get rid of their random rocks and bones. I just want them put away to make the place look nicer. You're the antagonist. What you are calling her hobby is work-related and you should stop demeaning it. She's an archaeologist and the rocks are on her desk. She can identify each one and where she found it by sight, and this is a long-standing hobby. Of course you're the problem. You're being picky and precious about something you knew was part of her life. I wouldn't be surprised if she told you to kick rocks, dude. Am I the antagonist for letting my GF be homeless? I started dating my longtime friend about 7 months ago, and while I've always had a crush on her and loved her personality, she has a recurring problem. She has a hard time keeping a residence for long periods of time. She has no family that is responsible enough to turn to, and her friends are all either moved out of state or married with children, so she doesn't have many places to turn to. Not long after we started dating, about a week, she confessed to me she was behind on her bills, rent, car payment, to the point that she couldn't provide for herself. Being a longtime friend, and now boyfriend, I helped her out by giving her $700 so she could write her sales. That helped until she fell ill and missed a week of work, so she would be behind again on payments. She suffers from a compromised immune system, so I wasn't going to hold that against her. I gave her another $1,000 to cover expenses so she could have more than enough to make the upcoming payments and still eat. Then her uncle ruins the relationship between her and her landlord, meaning she only has a month to find a new place to live. She refuses to live with a roommate, and after a month, I convinced my parents to let her live with us in my room, rent-free. Not long after she moves in, she quits her job. They were abusive to the point of law-breaking, and she looks for a new one, taking about a month to do so. I pay all her costs at this time for another $600-ish. Then she lands a job at chain coffee shop and needs a new wardrobe for the dress code. I front the bill for that and the makeup for about $1,000, including makeup and new clothes. She starts the job and is immediately being harassed by staff for her short height, some not even helping her get things from high shelves. She then falls ill with COVID and misses more than a week of work. The coffee shop demands she take a leave of absence for some reason, but we decide it's better for her to look into getting an older job back. I pay her expenses for another $700-ish, and she goes back to her old job. Now after 4 months, and able to make money, my folks want her to leave, having overstayed her welcome. But she doesn't want a roommate and wants to get a house with me, a goal I'd been saving up for nearly a year at that point. Now she's living with a coworker until the end of the month and will be homeless after unless I find and close on a house. She's upset that it isn't happening fast enough for her, but I feel I've done a lot for her already, and she needs to square her own rigging and find a place to rent with a roommate until I have enough saved up to buy a house. Not the antagonist. That girl is stringing you along with bullshit after bullshit. Her uncle ruining the relationship with her landlord doesn't make sense, and it seems like she has a pattern of instability with her job and living situation. You need to consider the red flags and the causes of her issues before committing further. Am I the antagonist for telling my friend to stop calling my diet an eating disorder? I am currently overweight and on a weight loss journey. I have 20 pounds to go until I hit my goal for in vitro fertilization, but I have another 40 pounds to lose in total. I have been doing this through calorie counting and intermittent fasting. I have a friend, we'll call her Ella, and together we are the largest girls in our friend group. Ella has always been a little bigger than me, and she strongly believes that you can be healthy at any size. We went out for dinner with our close friend group. When we were seated, I asked the waiter for a menu with the calories on it. The menus do not have the calories listed, but you can request one with them. I heard Ella make a comment under her breath, but I did not catch it properly. When we ordered drinks, Ella seemed offended that I ordered water. She tried to get the waiter to bring me a regular Coke, but I insisted on the water, telling Ella that if I had wanted a Coke, I would have ordered one. She kept insisting that I have the Coke, but another member of the group told her that I had ordered what I wanted and to leave it. After the waiter left, one member of the group commented on my appearance, saying that I looked more energetic, less tired, and I was walking better. When I was heavier, I was constantly tired and sore due to the extra pressure on my joints. I was also dealing with many symptoms from my chronic illness. My joints now hurt less, and I have much more energy. Ella said that I was beginning to look gaunt and sickly due to my eating disorder. The others defended me while I explained to Ella that I did not have an eating disorder, I was just losing weight for my health. Ella just rolled her eyes. When we ordered our food, she made more comments about me potentially having an eating disorder because I ordered a salad but asked for the dressing on the side and eating what she called rabbit food. Even at my heaviest, I enjoyed salad and would order it with the dressing on the side. After we finished eating, I was the only one who did not order dessert. I did not have many calories left and wanted to save them for a hot chocolate in bed. This caused Ella to once again accuse me of having an eating disorder because she thought I was restricting myself. I snapped at Ella and told her that just because she was content with her size and felt comfortable in her body did not mean that I did, nor did it imply that I had an eating disorder. She told me that I was just being hangry and I should have a slice of cake. Our friends told her to drop it, but she tried to get the waiter to bring me a slice of cake. I finally snapped and told Ella that I did not want to be overweight anymore and to just leave it alone. I asked the waiter for the bill so I could pay my portion and leave. Ella is still upset and posting vague social media posts about a friend who was blind to her eating disorder and called her overweight in public, and some people are defending her. Because of her reaction, I wonder if I could have handled this situation better. Am I the antagonist? Keep ignoring her attempts at vague booking and drop her if she keeps shaming you for your healthy choices. It's ridiculous that some IVF practices have a maximum BMI requirement, but skipping full sugar soda and opting for a salad is not an eating disorder. Don't let her crab in a bucket mentality bring you down. Am I the antagonist for telling my classmate's family that she fakes autism online after she spent years bullying me for being autistic? I, 15, have been diagnosed with autism since I was 2 years old. Since elementary, I have been in both isolated contained classes, special education, and the regular classroom. There was one person, 15, who consistently caused issues for me. Let's call her Alyssa. All through elementary, she would call me names, start rumors about me, and make sure I wasn't included in any class things. She very often told me how dumb she thought I was and that people like me, autistics, shouldn't be allowed to go to the same school. In middle school, she would do things like take my ear defenders and break them. She started calling me the R slur as well. Last year, she started treating me like a pet, like she was doing a good thing by parading around the sped kid. A few months ago, I stumbled across Alyssa's TikTok account. I noticed right away the symbols for autism on her display name. I decided to watch some of her videos and found that she was claiming to be autistic. She has many posts saying stuff like stim break, touch of the tism, and a bunch of other popularized phrases about the disorder. She calls autism silly disorder and really seems like she's romanticizing the condition. One of her posts was saying that the doctors were obese sexist because they said she didn't have autism. She still insists that her self-diagnosis is valid. I reached out to Alyssa's parents and sent them her account. I told them that their daughter is lying about being disabled online. As a result, her internet access has been restricted. Her parents also posted that Alyssa does not have the condition and deleted her account. I'm aware that autism is missed in girls often and that I'm not a doctor. I'm also not in her head, so I can't know. It's just frustrating because in my eyes, she's never had any symptoms. I know I'm not in her head. To me, it looks like she's just decided that autism is cool now after treating me horribly because of my autism. Due to my actions, Alyssa has essentially been publicly shamed. It wasn't just her followers who found out. Her friends also know. She started to be shunned by a few of them. People around school have started talking about her negatively. People aren't very nice generally, so it might lead to bullying. I didn't think about that until after I told her parents. I'm worried that my actions may have not been justified. I may have ruined her social life for a dumb reason. I will apologize to her if I am in the wrong. Am I the asshole for telling her parents? Not the antagonist in my opinion, she's reaping what she sowed. Faking a disability for sympathy after bullying you is unacceptable. It's important for her parents to know the truth, and she needs to face the consequences of her actions. Hopefully this experience will teach her a valuable lesson, and she can move forward from this. My GF is upset at me because I asked if she was a homewrecker. My girlfriend said she had something to tell me and wanted to talk in a quiet spot. We are currently overseas on holiday. She then proceeded to tell me a lady, 30 years old, showed up to her work asking for my girlfriend because the lady's partner, 35 years old, who my girlfriend works with has gone on 4 dates with my girlfriend and the partner hasn't come home after 2 of them. I trust my girlfriend and know she's loyal and hasn't been on dates with the guy. The guy has been helping her and her family with some construction work around their house, such as fixing the water mains when they were leaking. I know my girlfriend didn't cheat on me and isn't a homewrecker because I trust her, but I was quite shocked when she told me, as I got cheated on in my previous relationship. I blurted out, "Are you a homewrecker?" This was intended to be more of a joke and not an accusation. Immediately after she smacked me on the shoulder and got visibly upset, I also felt upset because she smacked me out of anger. Now she has walked off and said she will meet me at the hotel. We are currently on holiday and will be leaving in a few hours to fly back to our home. I tried to explain that I do support and trust her, and I'm not sure why I blurted out that question. I am also trying to let her know I was upset from the smack, but she wasn't listening as she said I was making it all about me, because I'm not understanding how she feels about the whole situation since she could even lose her job, and I was accusing her of being a homewrecker. I need some advice on how to navigate all of this. To summarize, girlfriend told me a lady came into her work looking for her because her partner has been going on dates with my girlfriend. I blurted out asking if she was a homewrecker and she got mad at me while we were about to fly back home. Need advice on how to navigate this? The construction worker guy has been working on her family's house, and accusing her of cheating just because he has been working late is a common excuse. Maybe she's young and just had a woman come into her work, accusing her of sleeping with her husband, which could be really scary for her. If you don't have basic trust and respect for your partner, you shouldn't be with them. Jumping to conclusions without any evidence will destroy their relationship. Am I wrong for breaking up with my boyfriend over his celebrity crush? My boyfriend, 29 years old, and I, 27 years old, have been watching Game of Thrones over the past few weeks. He's seen it before, I haven't. I asked to watch it with him and he was reluctant because in his words it was more disappointing than when my dog died. But we watch things together and cuddle and kiss, and sometimes have sex while watching them. And I wanted to see it so I could better understand House of the Dragon. So he relented, and so we're watching it. We're near the end of the 3rd season and I'm enjoying it a lot so far. In the episode we were last watching, there's a sex scene, and we've already been cuddling and kissing a bit. But we start kissing, but he tells me to watch what happens in the scene because it's important, and there's some leeches, some sucking of blood, and some burning. After this we're half kissing, half watching, there's some more nudity, we start having sex, after a while of having sex with it playing in the background. I ask if we can pause it and restart when we finish, which we've done a few times, and it pauses on a fat male character's face. It's funny. My boyfriend jokes that he's not having sex with that guy watching us, so gets up to get rid of him. Rather than just close it, turn it off or whatever, he rewinds it. Okay, not so much of a problem, but he rewinds it a few minutes back specifically to show Emilia Clarke's character naked, and pauses it there. He says in a joking voice, "That's better." I laugh and try not to think about it at the time. It's not like he's going to be actually looking at the TV while we have sex, right? Wrong. He's glancing at the screen several times while inside me. He's having sex a lot faster than I prefer, and he knows what I prefer. I just put up with it as it's not enough to get me out of the mood. But then what follows is the absolute worst thing, as he orgasms. Rather than looking me in my eyes as he does 99% of the time, he looks at her naked body and moans her name. Emilia, that is, not Khaleesi. Then looks at me expecting me to laugh at some hilarious joke. I immediately tell him that is completely unacceptable. He laughs and says it was just a joke and shrugs it off. I double down and tell him I'm pissed at him, ask him how he thinks it makes me feel and so on, and we argue and he continues to try and excuse it. I tell him it makes me feel awful to be compared to her because obviously she's more beautiful than I am, which he agrees with, but it's understandable because she's a beautiful actress, but okay because he's in love with me. Also, you already knew I masturbated to her anyway. After a while of arguing, he admits he crossed the line with that, and I told him to fuck off. I've texted him telling him that I don't think we should talk for a few days and I'm thinking of calling it quits, but we'll talk when I've thought about this. Even if we stayed together, I don't think I can continue watching Game of Thrones with him and watching her with. I already knew he masturbated over her, and I know he does with Emma Watson and Daisy Ridley too, so I feel like I can't even watch Harry Potter, which has been a big comfort film series for me. Honestly, just pissed off. I feel bad for threatening breaking up over text rather than just gathering my thoughts and saying everything in one go. What do you think, Reddit? Am I overreacting? I don't think I can manage watching any more Game of Thrones, but he didn't want to watch it anyway. No antagonist here, that's gross. Having a celebrity crush is fine, but actively having sex with your partner and moaning their name while staring at them crosses a line. He is a moron and weird. You should break up with him for feeling violated. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.